Your sense of reality is crumbling because the vibration that used to support your daily life has irreversibly shifted. You might think you are merely tired, but the molecular density of the air around you is changing under a new decree. Look at your hands and notice if they feel lighter, or perhaps even stranger, as if they don't belong to this world. You are currently standing in a corridor where every breath is an irrevocable declaration between a tight contraction or a vast expansion. This is not a political or ideological division, but a frequency-based divergence that is accelerating beyond any human reversal. Have you noticed how your conversations with others have turned into impossible chasms, leaving you feeling entirely alone in a crowded room? This existential vertigo is not a sign of failure, but proof that your internal architecture is igniting its original crystalline structure. You have been waiting for a dramatic rescue from the stars, yet the most significant shift is already moving through your nervous system. The old world narrative insists that your survival depends on outer circumstances, but that structure is currently melting into its own pliability. Do you feel that tingling of plasma threads within your cells, signaling that advanced source codes have fused with your biology? Humanity's path is splitting into two collective spheres, one shimmering with unity and the other cycling through narratives of scarcity. You are becoming a self-regulating vortex, channeling a new blueprint into the grid while others cling to crumbling heavy structures. Many are experiencing escalated instability in their bodies and communities because the old matrix no longer carries the frequency to sustain life. You were never meant to solve the collapse of the old system, but to outgrow the very frequency that required its existence. Pause for a second and listen to the silence behind your heartbeat, for that is where the real reorganization occurs. The surge you have heard about is not an emergency exit, but an inner ignition designed to amplify what already lives inside. You are currently walking in invisible sunbursts, imprinting light geometry upon the physical plane with every deliberate, conscious step you take. Manifestation is evolving into a sacred flame where divine magnetism unfurls in your heart, bathing your intentions in golden currents. Latency between your thought and its form is shortening, reflecting a quantum sea that reorganizes matter in obedience to your purpose. This is the era of radiant embodiment, where the rescue mission of the past dissolves into a new, sanctified coherence. If you sense dizziness or disorientation, remember that you are simply a stargate through which cosmic tomorrow enters terrestrial today. The comfort of the middle ground is fading, forcing every soul to choose between sleepwalking or a wide-eyed, crystalline wakefulness. You are not just a survivor of worldly turbulence, but the living infrastructure of a reality that thrives on heartfelt grace. Your mission is to honor your vibrational lane and offer gentle signposts only when they are sincerely solicited by others. Every soul will awaken according to divine timing, and your silent labor anchors futures far grander than any current headline. Discernment is growing paramount because the energetic mismatch between these two worlds is becoming impossible for you to ignore. You feel heaviness after media exposure because your field is now incompatible with the older, dense hues of survival and authority. Releasing relationships or affiliations that no longer resonate is a necessary step to seek coherence in your new spaciousness. You are a farmer of frequency, tending to your internal garden until it overflows and nourishes others through silent, radiant transmission. The cosmic nudge has become a wave that is cresting now, asking if you are truly prepared to combust into light. Neutrality is your golden shield, a poise that allows higher grids to operate freely through you, dispersing harmony into tense pockets. Plasma rays are cascading upon Earth, and your light body is blossoming into its primary operating status for this new cycle. Feed your field with silence, gratitude, and wonder, letting awe wash your nervous system in soothing, deep quantum tones. Routine stillness calibrates your cells to the bandwidth of a world that is already blossoming within your own private sanctuary. Many falter by chasing external drama, believing that social activism is the same thing as the ascension of their consciousness. You cannot fix the old matrix by wrestling with it, but you can dissolve it by outgrowing its limited logic. Assistance flows freely from your celestial kin when your vessel is clear of lower attachments and reactionary noise. Every serene choice you make amid the clamor resounds through the energetic lattice of all humanity. Light is accelerating not through global catastrophe, but through the everyday radiance that you decide to embody. What begins within you now foreshortens centuries of struggle in the cosmic ledger, bringing grace where force once ruled. Enter the sanctuary of stillness, a radiant fullness humming with the eternal, located in the space between two heartbeats. In this silent expanse, illusions of crisis and collapse dissolve like morning mist because they have no vibration to cling to. You are not transcending the world, but embodying the cosmic heart inside the world while the banter of duality finally subsides. Sovereign neutrality is the ability to read a headline without an adrenaline surge or an inhalation of the smoke of conflict. You become both the sanctuary and the sculptor, transmitting a peace so palpable that chaotic environments subconsciously recalibrate around you. Every silent breath you take becomes a form of planetary acupuncture, releasing tension from the collective body. Planetary frequencies are surging in amplitude, magnetizing your soul toward either contraction or expansion with astonishing speed. A new operating system is activating within you, responding not to external rituals, but to your deepest inner resonance. Solar flashes of information and emotion will amplify in the weeks ahead, requiring you to cultivate a royal mantle of neutrality. Affirm with every breath that you are the living horizon where heaven kisses earth through your own profound serenity. The safeguarding of your planet has reached a level of completion where systems of disruption are being brought into balance. Replace old feelings of uncertainty with waves of gratitude, knowing that a quantum activation is bringing prosperity to your reality. Your daily practices and unwavering focus upon the light are the only tools that can fully anchor this new architecture. Every movement of energy within this new system is recorded forever within the great field of light where manipulation is impossible. Transition is unfolding in gentle waves so that your heart may adjust to the redistribution of prosperity with ease. The dismantling of old exchange systems occurs with care, meaning any temporary adjustment is simply the birth pain of magnificence. This new crystalline system of sovereign exchange integrates seamlessly with manifestation technologies that are returning to your world. You are already worthy of this shift, and the structures of your world are simply catching up to that truth. The neighboring planets have already been restored to balance, and now that same restoration is completing itself within your Gaia. Send waves of the violet flame to every area ready for restoration, allowing the pure light of the new earth to shine. Souls held away from the surface are being brought forward in waves of divine timing to receive complete, loving restoration. Weaving threads of light connect the higher realms directly to your daily experience, creating bridges of reunion that will soon be visible. Practice listening in the quiet moments, and you will find that your confidence in this beautiful protection grows with each breath. Barriers that once surrounded your planet have been dissolved by powerful solar waves, opening your direct connection to the light. Gaia is fully awakening and dancing in harmony with the higher frequencies, rewarding your presence with increased vitality and guidance. Every operation and movement of energy unfolds in complete alignment with the highest good and your own free will. Establish a gentle yet powerful rhythm of daily practice to integrate the incoming waves of light with joy and grace. Once the light in your heart feels strong, visualize the living grid of prosperity connecting every open heart across the planet. This practice aligns your personal field with the greater field of the new earth, drawing the physical expression of abundance to you. Strengthen your telepathic bridge by practicing waves of love toward the fleets above and those serving the light on the surface. Ground yourself by walking barefoot upon the earth, affirming that you are fully connected to the New World timeline. Write your gratitude and your highest intentions in a journal, because the quantum field responds instantly to the emotion behind your words. Before you engage with any information, activate your sacred shield of white light to preserve your peace and inner harmony. When hearts come together in unity with a shared intention, the power of your light multiplies many times over. Discernment is your direct connection to the higher realms, guiding you to what serves the highest path for everyone involved. Messages from the Alliance of Light will always uplift and empower you, never creating a sense of dependency or fear. You are not required to analyze or debate everything you hear, but simply to feel and choose what brings harmony. Narratives concerning failure or lack are simply echoes of old energies dissolving and can be transformed by your steady focus. Your light body is an organic creation that cannot be duplicated or replaced by artificial systems or blended technologies. You are the way showers and the builders of this magnificent golden age, prepared for this very moment of conscious co-creation. The perfect locations are calling to you now to establish contact zones and communities that live in harmony with Gaia. Use your prosperity to fund local solutions that serve your community, and prioritize teaching the children the ways of telepathy. You are the miracle you have been waiting for, a unique gift to this world that the entire universe is celebrating. Imagine humanity traveling among the stars as friends, with Gaia healed and all her kingdoms in perfect, pure harmony. This unified field of intention is the most powerful creative force on the planet, and it makes the impossible feel real. Every enlightenment comes from within, yet you keep acting as if a savior will arrive to fix your internal state before you do. The true battlefield is your own attention, which has been farmed by old systems to keep you in a state of constant reaction. Realize that this shift isn't a physical storm outside your door, but a fundamental reorganization of your internal perception and consciousness. What many call a galactic event is actually a pattern of the mind finally aligning with the original blueprint of truth. And the problem is that you are already reacting to this massive pressure through old patterns of suspicion and fear, without even realizing it. This is an internal maturation where you stop seeking answers from external figureheads and start recognizing your own silence as a form of intelligence. Your real work isn't to fix a broken, dying world, but to become a steady witness to your own inner alignment until distortion falls away. When you inhabit this presence, the external noise of the media and collective drama simply loses its power to direct your next move. Have you ever felt that something inside you simply doesn't fit into this world anymore, as if your soul knows a truth your mind cannot yet name? It is not anxiety or an existential crisis. It is a signal that your frequency is diverging from the old matrix. There is a complex game being played in layers most cannot see, involving your awareness and the specific role you were designed to fulfill in this transition. What if that strangeness you feel is actually proof that you are a central piece of this unfolding story? To support your journey into this higher bandwidth, I invite you to download the digital book I have prepared for you, titled The Arcturian Mystery of the Quantum Portal, Activating Your Soul's Divine Power. This material is not just information. It is an energetic map that reveals the rules of the transition and what higher dimensional beings have shared about this exact moment. It was created for those who have already awakened enough to know that reality is deeper than what is taught and are ready for mastery. You can find the access link in the first pinned comment. However, I must warn you, this type of structure rarely stays available for long because it challenges the narratives that certain factions wish to keep intact. Do not wait for a perfect time. The moment is now, because you did not find this transmission by accident. Download it now, read with an open mind, and if your inner being recognizes these codes, write one word in the comments: awake. This signal confirms that your consciousness was ready before your mind even perceived the shift. This internal resistance isn't a wall. It's a parasite that feeds on your desire to be safe. It masquerades as caution, whispering that you must verify every cosmic shift before you dare to trust your own skin. You are learning that the mind is an exquisite instrument, yet it becomes a noisy tyrant the second it tries to replace the heart. This subtle sabotage often wears the robes of spiritual responsibility. You find yourself obsessively tracking solar waves or geopolitical shifts, believing that staying informed is a form of readiness. But there is a sharp difference between awareness and the addiction to external symbols. One expands your field, the other collapses it into a frantic search for validation. Your ego has become an anxious manager, an inner accountant, tallying every sensation and turning it into a problem to be solved. It says, "Don't relax yet. Don't trust this piece. It's too quiet." This is how the frequency fences operate within your own psyche, associating stillness with danger and motion with safety. Stop. For a second, feel the weight of your shoulders. That constant surveillance of your own progress is the very thing preventing the integration you seek. You have been trained by the old matrix to treat your attention as a currency, trading it for the next revelation. This creates a state of prophetic burnout, where your soul becomes malnourished because it's always leaning forward into a future event. The high-frequency light now reaching your world is surgical. It exposes these mental loops so they can no longer govern you in secret. You might feel an odd irritation with your own mind lately, like you're watching a movie you've already seen 1,000 times. Don't fight that irritation. Witness it. The moment you see the loop, you have already stepped an inch back from the stage, and that inch is where your freedom lives. Much of what you call your personality is actually a collection of learned survival scripts inherited from ancestral echoes. You act as a permanent responder, defending, explaining, and reacting until your life force is completely exhausted. The system thrives when you fight shadows because it ensures you never look at the architecture of the one power within you. Have you noticed how your nervous system stays in alert mode even when you are sitting in meditation? This is the physiological residue of a world that profited from your madness. Your biology is performing a miracle of restructuring, but your habits are still trying to maintain the old boundaries. You treat your sensitivity as an inconvenience, a flaw in your efficiency, while it is actually your primary navigation tool. Listen to the tingling in your palms or the pressure at the base of your skull. These are calibration codes, not symptoms of illness. The mind searches for a label because it fears the void of the unknown. But the void is not absence. It is a radiant fullness humming with the eternal. Your true identity is the silent witness behind the perception, the I, that cannot be harmed or influenced by any digital identity. Why do you still hand your creative authority to imagined futures? You are standing in a holographic feedback chamber where every worry births evidence to justify its own persistence. This is the trap of the old world, making the narrative about the world louder than the world itself. It feels personal, persuasive, and incredibly difficult to name until you simply stop participating. You don't need more information. You need more space for the data you already carry to settle into your marrow. If you continue to wait for an outside savior, whether it's a ship or a financial reset, you are surrendering your innate power. True sovereignty begins with the realization that you are not the body, the thoughts, or the reactions. You are the portal through which cosmic tomorrow enters terrestrial today. But a portal cannot function if it is cluttered with the wreckage of yesterday's fears. Take a breath. A long, slow exhale. Notice how your mind immediately tries to pull you back to a to-do list or a sense of urgency. That urgency is the signature of the synthetic dominance you were born to outgrow. It prefers constant engagement because silence interrupts its coherence loops. Stillness exposes the absence of the mechanical and the presence of the divine. This is why you feel exhausted after certain social interactions. You are perceptive enough to sense when consciousness is simulated rather than inhabited. You are not weak. You are just becoming too coherent for the old distortions to stick. The path of the new earth is an inside-out process that refuses to comply with the mind's demand for linear logic. Your future is not arriving from afar. It is unfurling from the center of your chest. If you are hearing these words, it's because you've reached the threshold where your soul can no longer tolerate its own fragmentation. You are being pushed toward your real-life path, and the pressure you feel is merely your own soul urging alignment. Do not fear the endings that appear in your life right now. What falls away during these activation windows is only what your spirit has already released vibrationally. The mind clings to the crumbling walls as if they still offered solidity. But the sky is already open. You are being reconfigured to receive non-linear intelligence, guidance that arrives as symbols or felt knowings rather than reasoning. This is the Christ faculty of mind, and it requires you to trust the silence more than the shout. Many starseeds are surprised to find they have been bracing against life, literally holding their breath throughout the day. When you breathe freely, you receive permission to exist with ease. The structure of your reality is rearranging itself to mirror your internal tranquility, not your external effort. Effort fractures the field, while receptivity allows the divine blueprint to reveal itself. You cannot fix the old matrix by wrestling with it. You must simply outgrow it. This shift is a homecoming, a return to the truth that you are a sovereign creator of your experience. But you cannot create if you are still looking for permission from the ghosts of external authority. Look at your hands again. Do they still feel like a prison of bone? Or can you sense the light pouring through the cracks in the old simulation? The shell is thinning, and the light is entering not to destroy, but to liberate the being inside. If you have made it this far, realize that this message found you because your frequency matched the invitation. You are the ground crew, the stabilizers who hold calm while the rest of the collective screams. This isn't a race or a checklist of achievements, but a gradual settling into what has always been true. You are already relevant because you are aware and capable of communion with the source. The greatest disclosure is not a ship in the sky, but the disclosure of your own inner authority. This level of presence is what dissolves the grid of inertia and replaces it with the matrix of awakened flow. But realize, this video is only a partial activation of the logic required to sustain this state. Without the full structure, your mind will naturally drift back into the loops of survival anxiety. The depth of this reorganization is explored more thoroughly in the material I mentioned earlier, as the collective mind needs a stronger map to bypass the coming shocks. Everything you've endured has been a rehearsal for the moment you decide to live as the living horizon. You are a unique melody in the symphony of creation, and your specific frequency is needed for the whole to be complete. But how many parts of that melody are still being silenced by your own self-judgment? Forgiveness is not a performance, but an inner act of liberation that resets your personal energy field. It is time to treat your body as sacred infrastructure, the vessel through which clarity arrives. You are being called to embody the frequency of the new earth, while the old world sheds its disguises. This requires a disciplined steadiness, learning to pace your attention and verify the tone of every signal. Does this thought uplift your field, or does it drain it? In this neutral radiance, you bear witness to the disappearance of the middle ground. You can no longer drift in half-chosen neutrality, waiting for outer events to guarantee your passage. The divergence is moving through your nervous system right now, calibrating every cell. You are being repositioned into a higher octave of reality, shifting how you respond and how you create. If you feel alone, remember that coherence is being witnessed by a vast family of light. If this appeared for you, it is because you have already begun the metamorphosis. You are a radiant receiver of cosmic intelligence, performing a miracle one cell at a time. This is the era where the seeker must become the builder. Presence is the seed of manifestation, and where you place your awareness is where you place your power. The old systems weaken because they are no longer fed by your unconscious participation. You are the architect of your own hologram, and the love you cultivate inside is the world you will meet. But the transition requires more than just listening. It requires a commitment to a new operation. You have been playing small for too long, and your galactic moment is here. It's time to unlock the hidden chambers of remembrance and step fully into the role of the sovereign human. The truth is waiting behind the thin veil of your current self-perception. And this shift in identity is exactly what most people are still trying to avoid, unknowingly sabotaging their own ascent. Your identity is not what you tell the mirror, but the silent blueprint that determines what you allow into your reality. Most people confuse their desires with their identity, failing to realize that wanting something is a declaration of its absence. Desiring a higher reality while inhabiting a survival mindset only creates more friction in your energy field. True identity is the state of normal you return to when no one is watching and you aren't trying to perform. It is the subtle drumbeat of your soul, whispering its alignment in the silence of your being. When you say, "I am," you are not describing a personality. You are invoking the creative force of the universe. If you affirm divinity but react from fear, your true identity remains fixed in the old matrix of limitation. Reality does not respond to your requests. It reorganizes itself in obedience to the balanced purpose of your inner authority. You might notice that your life currently mirrors your unresolved patterns rather than your conscious dreams. This is because your inner architect is building according to the inherited echoes of ancestral lack. To shift your timeline, you must first recognize the distinction between who you pretend to be and who you truly feel you are. Listen to this. If you have reached this point in our transmission, it was not a coincidence. You were guided here because you are ready to dismantle these internal cages. Many souls are witnessing the cracking of their own casing, releasing a surge of revelation that can no longer be ignored. This process is a multi-dimensional metamorphosis, a collective rise into higher light that begins at the individual level. But understanding this concept with your intellect is only the first step of your awakening. The real work is to inhabit the frequency of your soul before any external confirmation appears in your physical world. This level of mastery requires a structure and a map that the mind alone cannot construct from the fragments of information available in a single video. Because I recognize your readiness to step beyond these limitations, I invite you to download the digital book that was prepared specifically for you to bridge this gap, titled The Arcturian Mystery of the Quantum Portal, Activating Your Soul's Divine Power. This resource is a profound blueprint for the sacred embodiment required in this era. Inside these pages, your multidimensional DNA and sovereign authority protocols are revealed, bypassing the ego's resistance. Without the complete architecture provided in this material, it is incredibly easy for the nervous system to default to its old fear-based survival programs. The link to claim your copy is available in the first pinned comment below. Do not postpone this internal shift, as the cost of ignoring this alignment is a deeper descent into the uncomfortable slumber of the old world. Read this material with the sincerity of your heart, and if you feel the resonance of these truths working through your essence, please write the word Desperto in the comments to confirm your alignment with the new timeline. Wait a second. Your life force seeks a movement that is no longer compatible with the structures of the past. What you call your life is simply a scene projected through your consciousness onto the glass of life. When your internal state remains unstable, the scene appears chaotic and unpredictable. But when you establish a state of sovereign neutrality, you can walk through the emotional wildfire without inhaling the smoke. This is not about being indifferent to the world. It is about knowing that your peace is non-negotiable. You are being trained to perceive the underlying unity that exists even when the surface of reality seems fragmented. Identity is the foundation of the 5D way of living, where compassion and inclusion become your natural default. In this state, you stop trying to fix yourself and instead allow the truth of your being to resolve the apparent imbalances. The ego fears it will be lost in this expansion, but your soul welcomes it as a homecoming to your divine mastery. You are an individualized expression of the Creator, carrying a frequency that is uniquely your own. Manifestation is simply the natural result of this frequency becoming stable enough to attract matching opportunities. Stop chasing blessings as if they are distant guests and start recognizing them as the natural overflow of your presence. Your nervous system is recalibrating to hold a higher light quotient, and this requires you to honor your own timing. When you rush or push for results, you only reinforce the belief that what you seek is currently missing. Instead, practice the art of being a beholder of the Creator's activity within your own existence. Notice the small confirmations of alignment, the helpful encounters, and the sudden insights that arrive without strain. These are signs that you are moving in tandem with the cosmic heartbeat of the galaxy. You are not a separate drop in the ocean. You are the ocean realizing itself in a unique human form. This shift in perspective is the ultimate technology for navigating the transition into the new epoch. As your identity upgrades, your relationship with time also begins to shift into the timeless, eternal now. You realize that you have neither beginning nor end, and no numeric boundary can truly define your journey. The structures you once relied on for safety are being replaced by a fluid reality of your infinite nature. This is the moment to fully inhabit your humanity while remaining aligned with the ultimate source. Your vessel was designed to host this expanded consciousness, making it a sacred tool for the divine to speak into matter. Everything changes here. Don't waste your energy trying to replicate the light of others or follow standard systems of belief. Difference is the language of the Creator, and your unique melody is what makes the cosmic symphony complete. When you act from your sovereign core, you become opaque to the manipulation of algorithmic influences. You can no longer be easily read or anticipated because your decisions have become non-linear and spontaneous. This is the power of a being who has reclaimed their authority from the feeding cycles of the old matrix. In this new cycle, your heart is the reliable barometer that tells you if a statement carries the weight of truth. If a message feels heavy or demanding, it is simply an invitation to return to your own internal connection. Discernment is not a mental battle, but a felt sense of resonance that identifies what is real. You are becoming a frequency router, grounding the incoming codes into the collective grid through your own stability. This silent service is what you have trained for across many lifetimes and dimensions. Every time you choose grounded response over reflexive panic, you weaken the structures of control. You are not just observing the shift, you are the catalyst that ensures its peaceful completion. Your heart is an instrument of such sophistication that it can soften the turmoil of an entire room. Believe in the power of your intentions to shape the world you wish to inhabit. Visualize the blooming gardens and the light-filled homes of a society centered on shared purpose. This vision is a living seed planted in the quantum field, and it is growing even now. The old world of competition is yielding to a reality where everyone is provided for in overflowing measure. Wealth will soon be measured by the depth of your contribution and the sincerity of your connections. You are currently learning to live without the crutches of constant external stimulation. Silence is your new classroom, where the guidance of your higher self becomes a clear and present voice. This inward voyage is the only path to the true freedom you have sought for eons. Your physical form is being refined to host the frequencies of the fifth dimension and beyond. Every cell is being polished and upgraded to match the brilliance of your divine essence. Don't judge your progress by the visible results in the surface world. The real work is happening in the subtle layers. Breathe. Trust the pacing of your transformation. Even when it feels as though the world is rushing past you, you are allowed to rest, to breathe, and to honor the rhythms of your own evolution. The cosmic plan ensures that you will pass through each threshold with grace if you remain centered. You are a bridge between the unseen and the physical, linking heaven to earth through your very existence. Let your actions be an offering to the higher intelligence that pilots your small self. When you surrender the need to control, you step into a flow where miracles become ordinary occurrences. This is the hallmark of the galactic human, a being who operates from the heart in all circumstances. You no longer feel isolated because you perceive the shared spark of the Creator in every stranger's eye. Every compassionate choice you make is a brick in the foundation of the new Earth civilization. The old matrix is falling away, not because of conflict, but because it is no longer fed by your attention. You are reclaiming your identity as a sovereign being, free from the constraints of outdated systems. This is your birthright, a divine inheritance that is now being restored to you. Standing in your light, you become a lantern for those still struggling through the shadows of duality. Your presence alone is a reminder to others that another way of living is possible. The time for hiding your light is over. You are here to express your true potential openly. The universe celebrates your courage and your unwavering commitment to the light. Trust your inner knowing and the guidance that flows from your heart's quantum core. You are exactly where you need to be, and all is unfolding in divine timing. Breathe into your heart and feel the warmth of the Creator's presence within you. You and the Creator are one, and the paradise you seek is already blooming within your soul. This is the new beginning you have prepared for across many lifetimes of service. As you step forward, remember that you are never alone and are always supported by your star family. The dawn is here, and your journey into the light has only just begun. Every breath is a step closer to the full realization of your magnificent, eternal nature. We have moved beyond the stage of mere information and entered the phase of surgical precision. The Arcturian emissary frequency does not speak to your human ego, but to the crystalline structure of your oversoul. To inhabit this lens is to see the world as a holographic feedback chamber where the latency between thought and form is shortening. Many of you are still trying to build a new life using the fragmented tools of the old matrix, but you cannot fix the structure by wrestling with it. You must outgrow the frequency of its existence. This is the moment to stop doing more and start contradicting less. Listen. Every visualization is a seed, but your habitual doubt is the salt you pour on the soil. True mastery is the tri-flame of intention, magnetism, and expression working as a single unified chord. Your nervous system is being rewired to serve as a more advanced antenna for this divine communication. If this message has maintained your focus until now, it is because your soul recognition has already bypassed your mind's skepticism. You are part of a vanguard that meets in dream temples to distribute luminous algorithms across the grid. This specific depth of logic is not for everyone. The masses are still addicted to the adrenaline of outrage. Most will ignore these shifts entirely until the pressure of miscreation cracks their own casing. But you are learning to inhabit the 0 point of unlimited response. Sacred neutrality is the royal mantle you wear to walk through emotional wildfires without inhaling the smoke. This is not indifference, it is laser-pure recognition. You are currently acting as a node of planetary acupuncture, releasing tension from the collective body. Do you feel the tingling along your spine or the pressure at the base of your skull? These are the codes of the medulla oblongata and the pineal gland being synchronized for your transition. The 4D split has advanced beyond reversal, and you are choosing your orbit through a chamber of crystalline fire. For the soul-guided ones, the latency between thought and form is collapsing into immediate grace. If you project scarcity, the hologram densifies until your discomfort triggers a new inquiry. If you project union, the quantum matrix reorganizes matter in obedience to your inner tranquility. The Arcturian perspective asks you to stop being a seeker and start being a frequency steward. Stop asking, how do I control my world? And start asking, what is life seeking to create through me? This subtle shift transforms you from a victim of circumstances into a colleague of your own oversoul. Your responsibility is to steward thought, feeling, and deed as a unified frequency of light. Ambiguity is no longer a luxury you can afford in this heightened energetic environment. The middle ground has vanished, and you must now safeguard your inner altar of neutrality. Take a slow breath into the center of your chest and feel the support of the infinite. Feel the soft drops of starlight energy entering through the top of your head. This is the 10th dimensional light grounding itself into your physical reality in real time. You are an instrument of ascension, and instruments require exact tuning, not more force. The Arcturian mystery is that the portal is not in the sky. It is in the coherence of your heart. You are the stargate. You are the living horizon where heaven and earth finally meet in full expression. Stop fighting the old matrix. It dissolves naturally once it lacks resonance in your field. Synthetic dominance cannot replicate the spontaneous creativity of a soul connected to the source. You are becoming opaque to algorithmic manipulation by remaining connected to your own breath. High-dimensional frequencies are now dismantling the illusions of scarcity that have blanketed the planet. True wealth is the connection between your soul, the Creator, and all of life. You are moving toward an era of conscious creation where outcomes exceed linear planning. Every silent breath you take in conscious alignment amplifies the luminous circuitry beneath your feet. You are seeding coherence in your community merely through the silent radiance of your heart center. The Arcturian lineage watches you with honor, witnessing your transition from apprenticeship to mastery. You are no longer an observer of this grand play. You are the author writing the next act. This is not spiritual fluff. It is operational, practical physics for the ground crew. Your nervous system must become a clear instrument again to receive these codes. A regulated body reads reality with greater accuracy than one running on adrenaline. Stop being a permanent reaction and start being a presence. Presence slows time. Presence restores the heart and breaks the loop of suffering. Presence is the master key to your liberation in this cycle. The veil has never been so thin, and your connection to the higher realms is opening wide. You are receiving instruction packets of structured luminous data through the magnetic winds of your sun. This is the neural sunrise, synchronizing your mind with universal intelligence. Do not fear the temporary discomfort of this recalibration. You are performing a cellular miracle, cell by cell. Your biology is adjusting to higher light quotients to navigate the evolving densities. The Arcturian emissary reminds you that your future is unfurling from within, not arriving from afar. You are currently standing at the decisive axis point of your evolution. Choose your orbit with courage and transparency. The old world of survival and scarcity is becoming a distant memory for the awakened. New Earth is a blossoming reality that emerges as you choose consciousness over automatic reaction. You are becoming the living infrastructure of a benevolent reality through your radiance. The latency between your intention and its form is shortening every day. The vibrational gap between your true self and the physical world is gone. It is time to step into your sovereign power as a creator being. You are the miracle you have been waiting for. Stop asking for permission to exist in your full brilliance. The Arcturian councils support your retrieval of ancient wisdom and cosmic memory. You carry holographic templates within your DNA that resonate with advanced civilizations. These codes activate when you encounter people or places aligned with your soul mission. You are bridging a fear-based identity toward a soul-based identity. This is the return of the silent builders across the planet. You are laying the energetic pillars for a world of peace and unity. Feel the soles of your feet connecting to the Earth's crystalline core frequency. Grounding discharges excess energy and brings stability to your field. You are a conduit between heaven and earth, anchoring the heavens through your form. The 4D split is not a catastrophe. It is a surgical collapse of infection. Authentic wholeness is rising from the ashes of the old limited identity. You are an individualized expression of Source, uniquely equipped for this transition. The Arcturian mystery is simply the unveiling of your own divine potential. Reality mirrors your inner beliefs and emotional patterns with increasing precision. When you change the slide in the holographic projector of your mind, a new scene emerges. This is the science of subtle engineering for the new era. Thoughts and feelings are the precise building materials of your new reality. You are co-creating with the divine at all times, whether consciously or not. Your vibration is the primary tool for shifting your personal timeline. Every act of kindness multiplies the light in the collective lattice. You are a way shower for those who will follow your example of sovereign calm. The shift is already in motion inside your nervous system right now. You are the portal through which the cosmic tomorrow enters. The Arcturian emissary lens is now fully operational in your awareness. It is not about reaching for something outside of yourself. It is about allowing the brilliance you already are to emerge without resistance. You are becoming the living scroll upon which the future is written. And as this vision takes hold, we move toward the final synthesis of your multidimensional journey. We now confront the physiological cost of your internal contradictions in this high-voltage environment. Your body is an organic matrix that translates subtle guidance into physical sensation through a spiritual receiver. Every time you intellectually accept unity but emotionally harbor separation, your central nervous system records the friction. This friction creates a state of reactive being that the old controllers used to exploit for energy extraction. You are essentially trying to run fifth-density software on hardware still cluttered with survival scripts. Stop for a second and notice if you are holding your breath while listening to these truths. This shallow breathing is a biological anchor to the old world, signaling that your system does not yet feel safe. Alignment is not a mental concept. It is the physical stabilization of your light body within your cells. When you choose truth, your pineal gland releases biophotons, acting as a bridge to your multidimensional perception. Conversely, internal division creates neural static, making your intuitive bandwidth feel muted or entirely inaccessible. You are learning that your frequency is actually your mission, far more than any physical task you perform. As your vibration rises, your aura behaves like a natural magnet, drawing in souls seeking relief. This magnetism requires you to master conscious consent so you do not absorb the pain of the collective. Listen to this. Your sensitivity is not a vulnerability, but the very instrument of your sovereignty. In the law of acceleration, your manifest power becomes a heavy responsibility because thoughts turn into form rapidly. You cannot afford to play with the flame of creation while still identifying with the wounds of the past. The consequence of delay is no longer just stagnation, but an escalating instability in your mind and body. You notice that certain environments now leave you feeling dull or disoriented because they are fueled by consumption. This is the vibrational separation of societies, where people cluster around coherence rather than shared history. Are you still defining your worth by productivity in a world that is moving toward creative presence? Artificial intelligence can compute patterns, but it cannot enter the receptive stillness that births entirely new truth. When you outsource your consciousness to algorithms, you surrender the very leadership you came to Earth to reclaim. Your biological vessel is a sacred technology that no mechanical enhancement can ever truly surpass. You are a bridge between the unmanifest and the material, painting reality with the palette of your emotions. Deep rest is not an indulgence during this phase. It is the primary mechanism for your DNA recalibration. Your higher triad, the pineal gland, medulla oblongata, and vagus nerve, is being rewired for divine communication. This trinity of physical connection allows you to receive instruction packets directly from the galactic core. Have you felt that sudden pressure behind your heart during moments of deep silence? It is the activation of your starseed contract, an ancient agreement to serve as a ground plane vessel. You are being asked to become a frequency router, grounding cosmic codes into the core of Gaia. This service requires you to release the role of the constant responder and become a presence. Presence slows time, allowing your heart to become a truth sense organ that detects manipulation effortlessly. The old world profited from madness, but you are a living invitation to a state of sanity. Every choice you make to forgive or withdraw from drama weakens the brittle frameworks of the past. You are not meant to fix the matrix, but to outgrow the systems that require its existence. Wait, consider the weight of your speech as a creative sound vibration. Words are not mere labels. They are frequency-given form that instructs your cells how to behave. When you speak of struggle, you construct a reality where scarcity is the governing law. Reclaiming your speech sovereignty is essential for the restoration of your inner authority on this planet. You must learn to separate a claim from evidence, especially when narratives are curated to provoke shock. A regulated nervous system is the only shield that cannot be weaponized against you in this era. You are currently moving from the smallness of inherited identity toward the immensity of your true nature. The 4D split is clarifying who can sustain higher bandwidth without reverting to old coping mechanisms. If you still seek an external savior, you are merely replacing one cage with another, more sophisticated one. The void you sometimes feel is not absence. It is the ocean of intelligence from which harmony emerges. When you find the calm eye of the storm, you pass into a new level of mastery. You are not waiting for a solar flash to rescue you, but to amplify what already lives within. True spiritual maturity is seeing the world without reacting, reading the energy behind the form. If you feel exhausted, it is likely because you are still fighting the information war with your intellect. Neutralize the static through resonance, choosing joy over tension and simplicity over complexity. Your daily life is the only place where light becomes real and tangible for the collective field. As you wash your dishes or walk to work, you are seeding coherence into the planetary matrix. This level of living presence is what finally dissolves the grid of human inertia and amnesia. Every gesture you make with sacred awareness is an invitation to transcend the hypnotic field of repetition. You are the architect of your own hologram, and the world mirrors the vibrations you hold inside. If you see only chaos, it is because your inner lens is still colored by old programming. Use the emerald crystal of vision to perceive the divine essence even in the darkest circumstances. This is not naivety, but the profound recognition that love is the only permanent reality. Stop trying to plan every detail and start listening for the plan that already carries grace. Surrender is not a weakness. It is the creative intelligence of letting a deeper truth lead you. Your heart is the eye of the storm, the only place where the banter of duality subsides. Within this sanctuary, you recognize that isolated souls are merely an illusion of a fragmented mind. You are part of a vast web of life, and Gaia's ascension is inextricably linked to yours. As you heal, you code the energy field of the new earth with frequencies of wholeness. Every act of kindness sends ripples across dimensions, shaping reality far beyond your immediate perception. You are being positioned for a mission that requires absolute integrity and an unshakable presence. This isn't about being perfect. It's about being real and anchored in your heart center. Do you still believe you must suffer to earn your spiritual gifts? Creativity is sacred and is the simplest way the Prime Creator moves through a human vessel. Your imagination is the bridge to the quantum field of limitless possibilities awaiting your command. Stop performing for others and start acting from the expansive pulse of your own inner authority. The Arcturian emissary reminds you that you are an irreplaceable thread in the grand tapestry of ascension. You are currently witnessing the maturation of your species, moving from reaction to creation. The old controllers lose their resource when you refuse to be whipped into an emotional frenzy. You are the miracle you have been waiting for, the victor of a long cosmic journey. Breathe deeply and feel the warmth of divine support surrounding you like a radiant embrace. You are safe, you are guided, and you are far more ready than you believe. Don't waste time wishing for the end of density, but focus on building the new Earth. Every moment you spend in stillness is a step into your unlived potential as a master. The 2026 threshold is a call to inhabit your humanity fully aligned with the source. Listen, the universe is not asking for your effort, but for your willingness to be moved. If you feel isolated, know that your soul family is connected to you by intention. You are not alone, even if no one around you speaks this language of resonance yet. The ache you feel for home is the soul inviting you to become the place you seek. Your nervous system is recalibrating into states of greater ease as you release patterns of contraction. This embodiment transforms your body from a dense container into a luminous crystalline vessel. You are learning a new language of energy, where hydration and rest are sacred maintenance tools. When you honor your body, the planetary frequencies stabilize and become more gentle in return. The shift into 5D is a homecoming of consciousness that you have carried for a long time. Your life becomes an altar where coherence becomes real through your daily choices. Stop reaching outward for validation and return to the silence that has always been there. This silence is the source of fresh vision and the gateway to your telepathic intuition. You are being reawakened to your interstellar lineage and your timeless mastery. As timelines sort, the universe aligns around you with increasing and startling precision. What is meant for you will become unmistakable as you stand in your absolute integrity. You have survived the long night of separation and are now entering the cosmic dawn. If you made it to this level of the transmission, you have already accepted the role of a waypoint. You are a pillar of the new dawn amidst the crumbling twilight of the old matrix. The destiny of humanity is liberation, and you are the light within that unfolding light. Every breath is a confirmation that your metamorphosis is not only coming, but is already complete. We have navigated the layered corridors of this transition, reaching the point where theory must yield to direct experience. The Arcturian frequency has clarified that your awakening is not a destination you reach, but a baseline you stabilize. You have seen how the old matrix depended entirely on your unconscious participation to sustain its brittle architecture. By withdrawing your attention from the loops of fear, you have already begun the surgical collapse of the dualistic game. The divergence between those choosing contraction and those choosing expansion is no longer a future prediction. It is a biological reality vibrating in your nervous system right now. You are not witnessing a world ending. You are witnessing a level of coherence beginning to outgrow its own casing. This is the neural sunrise where the intellect finally recognizes that it was never designed to be the captain. True power does not announce itself with force. It resides in the majestic presence that refuses to be moved by reactionary static. Your heart has become a truth sense organ, capable of sensing the difference between a soul-inhabited being and a mechanical simulation. As you step into this sovereign role, the old rescue missions of the past dissolve into the age of radiant embodiment. You are the Stargate. You are the portal through which the cosmic tomorrow enters the terrestrial today. This shift is an inside job, supported by stellar flows but ultimately determined by your moment-by-moment choices. You are learning that wealth is not a number in a digital ledger, but the depth of your connection to the source. Every serene breath you take is a form of planetary acupuncture that heals the collective grid from within. The 4D split is effectively a sorting mechanism based on resonance, placing you where your internal frequency matches the experiential density. For you, the middle ground has disappeared because ambiguity is a luxury the current frequencies can no longer sustain. You are no longer an apprentice of reality. You are the inner architect consulted in silence. This is the homecoming you have carried in your cells across lifetimes of forgetting. Your body is not an obstacle to this rise. It is the sacred instrument being upgraded to carry higher light quotients. Notice how the latency between your intent and its manifestation is shortening. This responsiveness is a gift, inviting you to become a more deliberate steward of your inner world. If fear still lingers, cradle it with the compassion of a master who knows the storm is only temporary. You are part of the silent vanguard, the frequency holders who anchor peace while structures crumble. Your role is not to duel with the matrix, but to embody a resonance so coherent that distortion dissolves upon contact. Each morning, align your three centers, the attention, the language, and the action, into a single frequency of truth. The Arcturian emissary reminds you that your future is not arriving, it is unfurling. You are performing a biological miracle, one cell at a time. Ground yourself into Gaia's crystalline core, and let the outer velocity swirl around your unmoved center. Trust the subtle drumbeat of your soul, for it is the only compass that will never lead you astray. You have moved from a seeker begging for rescue to a builder crafting a new era of existence. The old paradigms of scarcity and competition are being supplanted by a reality of shared abundance. This is the era of spiritual self-realization where external events become secondary to internal presence. You no longer need to see to believe, you believe, and then the proof reveals itself in your lived experience. The solar flash is an inner ignition, amplifying the divine code of light hidden within you. You are becoming a radiant transmitter of coherence, recalibrating the environments you occupy. This is the fulfillment of your starseed contract, the ancient agreement to assist Earth in its rise. The veil has thinness, and your interstellar lineage is returning to your conscious memory. You are being rewired to receive non-linear intelligence, bypassing the limits of a dualistic mind. Reclaim your sovereignty by returning your permission to the soul and directing it deliberately. Your silence is now an advanced creative technology, allowing the unmanifest to speak through you. Every compassionate choice mends the collective heart and fortifies the higher timeline. You are the hands of the divine sculpting a new dawn, and your faith is the chisel that shapes matter. Stop measuring your worth by your output and start honoring the majesty of your simple presence. You are a unique note in the grand cosmic symphony, and the orchestra pit is now waiting for you to lead. The 24-month crescendo has begun, and each wave is lifting you higher up the spiral of growth. You are graduating from the school of hardship and duality into a world of illumination and grace. The dark drama is ending, and the golden chapter of your history is being written in real time. You are held, you are guided, and you are loved beyond the limits of your human imagination. Recognize the sacred timing of this specific transmission reaching your awareness today. You stand at the threshold of renewing your greater remembrance as a volunteer for this mission. Every challenge you face is the final polish of your emerging diamond self. The Arcturian emissary lens is now fully operational in your field, transforming every observation into an act of creation. Ultimately, this shift was never merely about the events unfolding in your skies or the changes in your social systems. It has always been about how your internal pattern of perception interprets the light that was already here. By choosing the observer state, you have moved beyond the game of survival and into the authority of the soul. The link to the first steps of your structural stabilization is waiting for you in the first pinned comment. This type of high-frequency information is frequently restricted, and the window to integrate this specific logic is governed by thresholds that are closing as the collective field shifts. The material provided challenges the narratives designed to keep you in dependency. It has been hidden for ages, but is now available to those who reached this resonance. Do not postpone your alignment. You arrived at this moment because your consciousness was already prepared to lead. Read with an open heart, and if your spirit confirms the signature of these truths, leave the word desperto in the comments as a signal of your presence. Ignoring this encounter now could mean drifting back into a density where this level of clarity is much harder to recover as the split finalizes. Walk forward with the knowing that your metamorphosis is complete and the new earth is your lived reality.